As you guys may or may not know, we have a barn cat, or I wouldn't really know if you call her a barn cat, named Cricket. She's like a gray, domestic long-haired cat that we rescued from the wildlife. If you don't know, what happened was like she was like, I think she was abandoned by like her previous owners or something like that. And then eventually she just made her way over here. So we got her in the house and whatever. She was already a friendly cat from day one. And her original intention was to be a barn cat, but now she just lives in the house. And also, she goes outside. So I get some questions sometimes about this. How does my barn cat, Cricket, manage to navigate so much land? Because we have 26 acres, if you're wondering. All these fields. By the way, I might be giving a farm tour on either Sunday or Monday. Probably Sunday. And so be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for that 4K before August. As I always say, something big's gonna happen, so you'll see then. So we've owned cats here in the family for a long time. And by long time, I mean since the 2000s. We got some cats here. We already had a couple cats before. Our first cat we ever owned, we gave away to another one of our family members because they were watching it over a little vacation and they never gave it back. But we eventually got a cat named Parker. He is in 2006. He is currently 18. He's gonna be 19 soon. No, it was not 2006, it was 2005. Because in July, sometime I think right around now, he turns like 18 or 19 soon, so that's cool. We also kept another similar cat named Leo, but he was also born in the same year as Parker, 05, and sadly, he didn't make it really that far as Parker did. Parker's still alive to this day. Leo passed away in, I think it was October 2014. It was like October 20-something, 2014. It was a sad day, but we didn't own the farm back then. But we really haven't got any new cats since 2014. So a little bit under 9 years later, in 2023, January 19th, the day before my channel anniversary, which is January 20th, we didn't buy, of course, I already told you the story of how we rescued the cat. And eventually, yeah, we adopted her. She spent the first day or two in the comfort of the basement, which is usually in the 60s. And it was pretty chilly outside. The nights dipped down to the low 20s, which, I mean, my cat can survive, but I'm not gonna leave her outside, obviously. In those first few nights, you just wanna get her used to the house. Eventually, I think on the 4th or 5th night, she was moved into the actual house because you don't really want her running wild with dogs and an elderly cat and all that whatnot. So eventually we just kept the cat in the house like that. Now she spent a couple months in the house with us. Obviously we gave her like her food and water every day, and like she'd hunt mice sometimes in the house. However, what ended up happening was one day, when I went out the door, she escaped. I got mad, but I just let her outside for a little bit, and eventually this kind of just became normal. This became like really normal for us to have like her going outside. She didn't really spend too much time outside, like maybe an hour, but eventually she started spending more and more time outside. And on July 17th, 2023, she did go missing for a couple days, but as you guys know, at the end of the day, on the 20th of July, I already told the story, you can check out on the iCard above, where I talked about how coyotes almost destroyed my entire chicken farm, and they almost killed my cat, but fortunately she's just fine. She's still alive to this day, fingers crossed. I saw her like 5 minutes before I recorded this video, so yeah, odds are she's still with us. She's a kitten still too, so my cat isn't that old yet, but my cat still like spends a lot of her time like in the house, like at night and like when we're not home, and like if it's like after 7 or 8 p.m. but like she spends a lot of her time outside. And recently she started stockpiling a lot of the rodents she's getting squirrels, rabbits, and especially chipmunks, moles, voles, and mice and stuff like that. And she's storing them underneath the cars. I don't know why she's storing them underneath there, because that's a pretty obvious place. But yeah, that's where she's storing like whatever the cat wants. And most cats are pretty like that. But how does she navigate her way around the farm, I hear you asking? Well, she likely spent at least a couple months outside, so it's safe to assume she knows what she's doing. She's been on this farm for a while. Now, what we can basically assume here is that yes, the cat knows what is what around the farm. Like down there's the woods. I'm guessing she probably doesn't go that far because that's where the coyotes hang out and whatnot. But as you can see, there's tons of fields around here. So one would assume that she probably spends a lot of her time hanging out around there. However, when I walk out the door sometimes, she's either gonna come running, the cat's either gonna come running from me from the road or from the top of the fields. Now, across the road, that's not our farm anymore. That's the neighbor's farm now. So, obviously, running across the road as a cat's not a good idea. But she spends a lot of her time on the farm. Usually when I'm out here and filming a video, she'll like usually come right out of the field and get right down to get right over towards the chicken coop over here. However, a lot of the times, she just comes around from like the front door, and I can't even tell where she's been. So she could sometimes be all the way up at the top of the field, or all the way at the road over there. There's a road about 2 miles down the street down there. So that could be, it could be either or. I don't know which direction the cat is coming from, but to be honest, I don't care. So it's quite simple, as long as she doesn't get hit by a car. Because as you know, on these, like, I don't know if you call the road a scenic route or not, because, well, it's like a road where you can get to drive through the forests and whatnot. Speed limit's 25 miles an hour. I see cars going down at 50. I don't think it's a safe place to be crossing the road unless you know for a fact what you're doing. So now, how does having my cat around help keep my chickens in check? Well, the chickens are a little bit scared of the cat, not by a whole lot, but like just a little bit scared of the cat. And also, the chickens also might attract some mice to come over and steal their eggs. And the cat will get over there and say, I'll take the mice from you. The chickens will also, as I said, provide them with some food and whatnot, and that's all pretty cool. But do you want to know what else would be pretty cool though? It would also be pretty cool if you were to click the video on the screen right now, which is the video essay from 2 weeks ago, where I review every single chicken breed I've ever owned in depth in just 11 minutes. And I'll see you there.